Once upon a time, workforce management systems were very much associated with contact centers and not in a good way. WFM systems were associated with recording of toilet breaks and tea breaks and optimizing the number of staff as opposed to customer or employee experience. But that has changed dramatically over the last numbers of years. Today, we have Emma from Puzzle, a European expert in WFM systems, here to talk to us about how the contact center and the WFM industry has changed.
Yeah, so I'm the director of workforce management within Puzzle. And to answer your question there, I think the contact center has really moved from a cost unit to a profit unit during the last few years. And businesses have begun to understand that the contact center is really the face of the business and the reason that the customer either stay or leave you. So contact center agents are now seen more as a valuable resource, and the companies are looking more into how to make the agents stay with the company longer and how to make the environment they work in better. They're also realizing that the better we treat our agents, the better service they will deliver to our customers. So agent experience really leads to better customer experience.
WFM systems were originally based on a piece of math by a chap called Erlang, who was an engineer amongst many things. And the math has been around since 1900, thereabouts. It relies on an average of averages, but one thing we've learned in recent months and recent years is that people aren't average and their experience in the world isn't average. How are WFM systems, or how have they evolved, Emma, in the last numbers of years to account for more accuracy, or for the way work has changed, or to use artificial intelligence to get more accurate mathematics to allow us to be a lot more precise?
Well, what we are seeing now is companies offering different add-ons to the mathematics and the ability to take trends into account and AI to detect and learn patterns in the traffic. For example, weather data as one example, but another interesting area I think is also to use it for absence and attrition, learning the trends and predict shrinkage and attrition based on what's actually happening in the contact center, especially now during COVID, being able to detect those trends as well. But every center is unique and in what methodology works best for them. So I think it's important also to know your own data. Also, the complexity itself can be a hurdle. So it's important that whatever modeling process is in place, that you're able to verify the accuracy of the forecasts created. And I think also what I see as critical specifically is the ability to set also proficiency levels. And these are often created based on analysis of actual performance. So you want to look at how each agent is answering the calls, the average handling time of that agent, and take that into account when you calculate the schedule itself. And of course, this makes it more complex in a multi-skill environment where you have a lot of different channels and you want to simulate call by different agents. It's a lot of complexity, but I do strongly believe that AI will change WFM going forward. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the next 2-3 years. I think we're going to see a lot of change in this area.
COVID has surely impacted the contact center industry a lot. So possibly 12, 18 months ago, contact centers wouldn't have allowed their staff mobile phones. They might have been perceived as particularly restrictive places. And then COVID kicked in and firms were delighted that their staff could connect and work from home. Some of those trends may or may not continue. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts as to how do you see COVID, or the outcome of COVID, or the lessons we have learned from COVID, impacting the contact center and WFM industry over the next couple of years?
Well, for sure, COVID has affected everyone, the whole industry. And for some contact center, of course, this might have been a big drop in businesses, and for others, their business has flourished. So it has definitely affected everyone. But it has really affected the way that we look at work from home. So many centers have been forced to send their agents home. and some have a mixture of agents at the office and some are working from home. This is still the reality for many contact centers, and it's especially crucial in a remote working environment to work on agent engagement. And many businesses are struggling finding the right tools to keep the agents engaged when working remotely. I think also adherence becomes really important. If you have agents in working from home, earlier you could, as a team lead, really just walk around on the floor and see if agents are actually on the call as they were supposed to. But now being able to track that real-time adherence is even more important. So, but it has also a lot of benefits with the COVID and working from home. Many contact centers have been able to see more flexibility from their agents. They have had agents now that can jump in and work a few hours, work on split shifts. So a lot of more flexibility. And of course, one other benefit might be that you might not need as much office space, so you could have agents working from home. So it's both pros and cons with the COVID.
What's the best use of WFM that you have seen within a business or an industry to date?
Well, I've seen many good examples of successful WFM deployments, and the most successful ones have been with contact centers that have a focus on the agents themselves, having that human aspect in focus. And I think when implementing a WFM, it is key to get the buy-in from the agents. So communicating why we're implementing a workforce management system and allowing them also to influence their own time without affecting the quality of the schedule. It's also illustrating why we're using real-time monitoring because of the benefits it brings to the agents, making sure that their colleagues are actually following the schedule that we have created so they won't be overworked. So really communicating is key. But the most successful deployments I've seen have actually had a massive drop in agent attrition, and at the same time had a lot of savings on payroll by using less overtime and also using maybe less overflow because they were able to plan better. I think all of these have a few things in common. One is their willingness to look at change. And the second one is also to set the time aside really to make it a successful implementation. This is not just a quick fix in 2 days. You really have to make sure that you get this set up specifically for your business, having everything that you want in the system from day one. So I think those are really key in making a successful deployment.
What are the most successful balance of metrics that organizations should be looking at as they implement WFM within their organizations to help them digitally transform?
It's always a balance, looking at the savings and what we're able to do in terms of optimizing the schedules themselves. But of course, it's also getting that agent part of things, being able to have the agents communicate their preferred working time and being able to really be part of the process. That really will be a win in the long term. Looking at what you would like to achieve, being able to address the agents' work-life balance and also their requests on preferred working time will be key in the optimization process itself.
What do you see as the future for WFM firms and their clients?
I do think we will see a lot of AI, of course. AI will help us do real-time adjustments on schedules when we see changes in the forecast. Maybe we see more call volume that we had predicted, and being able to better predict how we should change the schedule during the day based on this information, and also based on attrition. And also absence, of course, during the day. So I think we will see a lot more happening there. But I also see that we will see a lot of more things happening on usability, because today we're still seeing a lot of the systems out there. They're way too complex, and it's like having the world's most advanced calculator, but if you don't know how to use it, you're better off with a pen and a paper. So I think working on the usability of the systems, I think we'll see a lot happening there. But I do think what we'll also see is more focus on the health of the agents, being able to track that. Health and engagement will be key going forward. So I do think we'll see continued focus on the agent experience, and really all companies starting to really understand the importance of the agents in the contact center.
How do you build a business case for WFM?
It's you can talk about both the hard and soft dollar terms. If we look at the hard dollar terms, those are usually pretty easy to calculate. Of course, one aspect is saving time, administrative time on creating forecasts and schedules, and this is usually cut in half when implementing a system like Puzzle. And the other one is also the optimization itself. So if you are in a multi-scale environment, it's literally impossible to create optimized schedules by hand. So you tend usually to overstaff to cover all the tasks that come in. So that's another part of the savings. And if we look at the adherence of things, so we usually see that at least a 5% savings is something that you could see if you do implement the real-time adherence part of a workforce management system. But we also see, of course, creating a more balanced workload for the agents will reduce attrition and absence. So that's another part of things. But what we typically see is within 3 months, you'll see return on investment in hard dollar terms when implementing a system like Puzzle. And if we look at percentage savings, I would say 8 to 9%, up to 30 to 35%, all depending on of course, the changes that you're willing to see and the kind of environment that you work with. But on top of that, what we are usually also seeing is increased revenue, because we're able to have staff available when potential customers call in, and we will be able to forecast better long term. So those are also benefits that we'll see. But I think the soft terms as well, and the soft positive things are usually around agent engagement, providing this really good balanced workload for the agents, reducing that attrition, which is usually as high as 45% in a contact center over 1 year. So it's a lot of things that you can do on those soft values, being able to, let the agents influence their schedule and influence the hours that they work will improve the way that they deliver customer experience. Then we're talking also the experience for our customers, and that's another part which is really hard to measure, but all in all, it's an easy sell.
It's an absolutely fascinating space, with agents working from home, with WFM systems trying to measure not just phone calls, but agent productivity and agent adherence at distance and in office. It's interesting to see the amount of multi-channel communications that are now happening as well. Not an easy industry to work in, but quite an exciting industry. It's interesting to see the amount of multi-channel communications that are now happening as well. Not an easy industry to work in, but quite an exciting industry. If people want to find out a little bit more about WFM, a little bit more about you and Puzzle, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, you can go to our website, puzzle.com, and there you can find more information about our WFM system, and we also have a LinkedIn page. You're more than welcome to follow us there as well. So we're more than happy to set up any kind of session to go through more details on what we do, I would really love that. So just get in touch with us, and we'll make sure to set something up for you.